like the radar.
She was probably in the IDF, so she would have got a stronger letter.
Oh, that's true, actually. From fucking Mossad. James Bond kills Mossad agents.
Right.
We've been taken off there.
Hello and welcome to the For Your Ears Only podcast. This is episode 0022 and we're looking at Quantum of Solace, directed by Mark Forster. I'm Jack and this is Derek.
Hello.
So we're going to talk about Daniel Craig's second film, the last film to be brought out 2 years after the previous film. Like, from now on, it's 4 years between films.
And now it's 20 years.
And now it's over.
Yes.
It's over.
Finished. He's dead.
Spoiler. But yes, this is Daniel Craig's second, and some would say best. But not us.
Ironically?
Yes.
I don't know.
So, before we get into it, we're going to go straight into our 2 minutes, because I know that Derek's nervous.
Wait,
to do it.
do people think this is his best movie?
No, I was being ironic there. Nobody does.
I can't defend that, but I can be the defence for this movie.
This podcast might be short because the film is short and there's not much to say.
It is only an hour and 45, isn't it?
Yeah.
Squeeze a lot into it, though.
It's the shortest Bond film ever.
Concentrated. I think it's good for that, but I'll get on to it after I butcher this 2 minutes.
Right.
This is so hard. Like,
This is one of the hardest.
Here, I might actually close my eyes to try and
picture it.
Yeah, to go through. I've even written down the order just so we can make it through this episode. But this is a concentrated Bond movie.
Right,
Some should say it should have just been a TV show.
I hope that you do better than I did last time with Casino Royale, because I butchered that.
Right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you know what film you're doing?
Die Another Day.
Right, okay. 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So the movie starts with a car chase around Lake Garda. James Bond is going to get away from these cars that are trying to shoot him. He kills the cars, and it turns out he's got Mr. White in the boot of the car, which is a continuation from Casino Royale. They're then interrogating Mr. White. It turns out there's a member of MI6 in the room who's part of this secret organisation who kills the other agent, shoots M. A chase ensues. Bond catches him, ends up killing him. It turns out this agent was called Mitchell. They're then in the London apartment of Mitchell to try and find out what's going on, how he managed to betray the country. They then use marked bills in Le Chiffre's money laundering operation to locate this man who's deposited a stack of them in some South American country that I can't remember the name of. Bond shows up and actually kills him. He then finds this woman, Camille, who is meant to make contact with the man he's just killed. It turns out that she's affiliated with this man called Dominic Green. Bond follows him. There's then a boat chase after he thinks Camille's going to get captured by this General Medrano. Bond saves her, gets away.
1 minute. And
then what happens after that? After that, he follows the plane which is going to Austria. Bond follows him to Austria, gets to the opera, finds out there is a secret organisation trying to buy up pipeline in Bolivia. From there, MI6 swaps all his cards because he's killed a member of Special Branch's bodyguard. He then has to go to Italy to meet old pal Mathis to get cards to travel. They then go back to Bolivia where Mathis has an ally, meets the ally, he gets framed for Mathis' murder. MI6 steps in to try and stop this. He then meets up with Felix Leiter because Felix Leiter's the only person that the Americans are trying to kill him because they think he's killing all these agents and went rogue. Felix Leiter tells him where Dominic Green is going to be. He goes to this thing, kills everyone, leaves Dominic Green in the desert to die and drink motor oil, and then he finds the person who betrayed everyone, part of Quantum, and Vesper's ex-lover, and hands him over to MI6.
Done. Breathe. Well done.
I think I missed a wee bit out, but I think that was...
No, it was fine.
I think that was panic driven.
That was just like
I don't remember
the script.
No, the reason I wrote this down is I I get why people don't like this movie.
Yes.
But I think
there's
it's
a lot.
purely given because they're comparing it to Casino Royale. It's a B-side to Casino Royale. But much in the same way...
That's a good way of thinking about it.
Something I also thought as well is Skyfall is the only movie that doesn't appear to be a B-side, an A-side, B-side film. There's no other ones that have a continuation from a previous character coming
Okay,
over.
in Daniel Craig's tenure.
Really, in any of the other ones as well. There's not... You get returning villains and things like that. And you get nods to previous movies. But this is a continue... Something I noticed straight away for this movie, there was no gun barrel sequence.
Until...
At the very end.
The very end.
But...
Till just before the credits.
Yes. But...
As far as I know, that was a conscious choice that they were always going to keep it at the end.
Yeah.
Until fans talked about it and then they put it back for Skyfall to where it should be.
Oh, it should be, because Skyfall's nothing to do with these other movies. But then Skyfall has a definitive end. But then Spectre and No Time to Die, that's an A and a B movie.
Yeah, connected.
You need to watch one to watch the other. So I have a hard time judging this on its own. But even though it's a short movie, I have watching it back, I was like, this is actually very well paced for having a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And it's like a detective thing. There's a lot of new things with it. The main, I'm going to call it the Bond girl, isn't like a romantic pursuit for the first movie in quite a long time. There's never any, like the end, alright, it's shag. That doesn't happen with this. It's very focused, but I don't know, I think there's a lot with this movie that I really liked. I thought you only get away with this as like almost like a one-off. It's almost like a spin-off. It's like, we had this movie and the last movie could have just ended like that. Oh, the bad guy got away with the money. Yeah. And this is just, here's the spin-off. I don't know why they brought on a different director. I don't know if that just maybe changed things.
I'm not sure why they brought on a different director as well. I think that was
It's certainly, what it does do is it scratches the itch for the lack of action in Casino Royale. Yes. It fills that whole thing.
There's a lot of action here.
I think, like, visually, people talk about Skyfall looking really good. I think this movie looks great. Like, it bounces around, like, locations, but it does have a reason for it.
Yeah.
Everything looks great. I think this is genuinely the best, like, Daniel Craig's ever been dressed in any Bond.
Definitely the best he looks, his best shape.
In every scene, like, relaxed. Like dirty and just like messed up after a fight in a tuxedo in a suit.
Yeah,
like every single scene just works like really well. Another thing as well is he does blend into this movie quite a lot. Where obviously the point of being a spy, as Declan said, is you're meant to blend in and not draw attention to yourself. 2008, lots of greys. Everything's grey.
Everything's black and white. In this film,
he does blend into everything quite well. Yeah. Coincidentally, a lot of the villains look like Daniel Craig, which is how he's able to get away with playing doubles and asking for, room keys and in the opera. He just managed to find the one guy who has the same build. So, but I think it is just a very enjoyable movie. But I think people they compare it.
Yes, I think that's where it falls down. People compare it to that previous film because it was such a big success and a big change, and this film, we spoke about this briefly, how they missed a trick of bringing it out in 2007, but that was the original plan.
Oh, was it?
They were originally going to bring it out in November 2007, so that would have been maybe less than a year since the release of Casino Royale, and obviously in modern days that cannot happen.
Because it was November, Casino Royale. So this would have been an exact year later. Yeah. And that's just
unfeasible.
Given the fact they had to do a lot, like I know you mentioned about the Brioni suits had to change. I noticed that, and then I'm like, different suit. And there was all these other things that changed as well, and sponsorship and branding. There is a big branding thing I noticed in this movie, which is such a 2008 thing. Which we'll get onto, and it's fizzled out, and it doesn't really exist anymore. But I think there was a big push for this.
There's quite a lot of the same brands as the last one. I think it must have been a continuation deal. Yes, but we did. The gun barrel scene is at the end of this film because it's supposed to signify the end of the double feature.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, and then they bring it back to the start of Skyfall where it's supposed to be.
Good. I thought kind of Skyfall didn't ruin the line of things. We're expected to believe that James Bond has been going for years after Quantum of Solace, but this is all... Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace is meant to all happen in the space of what I assume is like a few weeks.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to pick up an hour after Casino Royale.
Yeah, so I get that. James Bond has gained an amazing tan in the space of an hour of playing that car.
Shed a lot of weight.
Yeah, throughout that movie I was like, this guy is so tanned. So I get that, but...
Do you think... I take it you know about the writer's strike that plagued this film. So
it plagued everything.
Yes, it plagued the whole production. The fact that the script first draft was completed 2 hours before the writer's strike began.
Right.
So nobody could work on it after that.
Is this Neil and Purvis?
Neil and Purvis.
And Haggis?
And Haggis.
Paul Haggis.
So Haggis is the one who redrafted it and then turned it in 2 hours before the strike. So they couldn't bring anybody on to finesse it, which meant that Daniel Craig himself and Mark Forster, the director, had to improvise or embellish stuff actually there whilst they were filming. So there's quite a lot of dialogue that they had to write, and then after the strike was done they had to put it into the script because you couldn't have directors.
I don't know. I've actually forgot to bring this up in the last episode. I found some of the dialogue in Casino Royale just difficult to listen to compared to this.
You mean the sound design? The sound of it?
Just the lines.
Right.
Not the sound, I mean difficult to listen to as in like people talking to each other, and I'm like, what? The whole bit with like Vesper and James Bond at the end, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, that was kind of cringy dialogue, but the whole love stuff.
And I didn't.
No armour left or something.
I considered myself travel till I start weeping blood. Who talks like that? Like,
yeah,
I guess I dig, but I'm still like,
yeah.
Okay.
But this film, I don't think that's the problem. Everybody, or a majority of the fandom, would say that the script problems are why this is their least favourite Daniel Craig. But I think the script is short, punchy, short and sweet, and it's, like you said, full of action. Every scene has something, and it's just a good pace. What I think is the main issue with this film is the editing style.
Okay.
It's not the plot. The plot's fine and it's short and sharp, but it's the fact that literal you get like 10th of a second frames between this shot, a random shot, a horse, he's getting shot, a horse again, something, the car doors off, but is it, how did it fall off, all that kind of stuff. It's too much for my little brain.
It's see the horse race. So he turns and he shoots the woman.
Yeah.
And then they're all chasing away, and then they're jumping up the tower, and then it goes back to the woman lying down. And I was like, is she still... Why is no one phoned an ambulance? And people are looking about, they've just ran away. Yeah. So, I get that.
Yes, the editing, I think, is the editing is what makes it hard for people to follow, because it's going so fast. Then you're like, wait, what happened? Why are we going here now?
I think that's like a 2000 action editing thing. It's like the Bourne movies, like the fight, they rehearse all these fights, and then you just cut everything.
Yeah,
you can't.
There's so many angles and stuff that it's disorientating. That's my problem with this film, not the actual storyline. So it's the editing. I don't know who edited the film, but I'm going to blame the director.
Reveal yourself.
I'm going to blame the director, because really it was his final say. He made World War Z.
Did he?
After this, which I would say completely different editing style, so I don't know if it was him.
It's a different movie.
Yes, it was zombies.
It's James Bond the zombie. Is Daniel Craig bite Brad Pitt?
I like the action is good. When Mark Forster in every interview talks about how he wanted to include the elements in his fights. Did you know about that?
Fire at the end.
Yes, so he's got the fire fight at the end. He's got the water fight where they're on the jet skis things.
Oh, the boats?
The boats. Okay. They've got the wind fight, which is the aeroplane fight, and then they fall out and free dive, and then the Earth one is,
I don't know, the tower where they're. I don't know. I think we're struggling for something.
I can't remember what the Earth one is, but it's pretty obvious. But yeah, so he wanted a fight to go with every element. It's not. It's just an artistic choice rather than an actual
quarry.
Potentially, yeah. I don't know.
It sounds
maybe
very,
the sand.
English essay.
Yeah, it's very higher English.
Yeah.
But also, he did do a lot of artsy things, like the sound during the fight in the opera.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is something I really, really liked. I
really liked that. That was a good artistic choice, rather than to have dramatic action.
I think it's do you know what I really like about this movie? I like the fact that it is, now that you say that, there's a lot of, the things that I like is there's a good difference between this and other Bond movies.
It stands out.
Showing up and just relying on charm, something blown up, and then I'm walking away with a woman.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, this is the way it's always been done. I'm like, no, there's a way of making it entertaining with that. I think we spoke about, in fact, before I go into dislikes, why don't you give question one? We always run away from this. We're like, we've got to
bring them back
brain cells.
Yeah, well, I was going to make a question, and then you went and spoiled it in your 2 minutes. My God,
yeah. I didn't say his first name. I did not say his first name.
But I'm not going to do that anyway.
That question?
No, my question one is going to be, when Bond gets to Haiti, that was a country.
Haiti. I just want to say South America.
He goes to find Slate and interrogate him, but what room number was Slate hiding in?
It's quite a high number for such a tiny hotel.
Yeah, a little hotel. It does. They say it at the desk, and then you see it as they open the door. Yeah. So you've got 2 chances.
They say it at the money desk.
Yeah.
And he also says it at the reception. Any messages?
Yes.
So you get 3 chances.
No, it's true.
No excuses.
So an easy question to start.
So I only have 2 dislikes for this movie.
Okay.
One is a small one. I don't like the oil gag with fields covered in oil.
Why?
I think it's just it's trying to be Goldfinger.
Yeah, well, I think that was the idea.
It's a nod to Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
But what we know is there is no oil. So what's this for?
Well, yeah, that was a question for me. I didn't know when they're talking about, oh, did you find oil? And he says, or he just shrugs or whatever, and they laugh it off. And then it's like, oh, we're just actually looking for water. Mm-hmm. So why is she filled with oil?
Yeah, I didn't get that, and I thought, oh, this is the whitest, most immaculate hotel. It's kind of like the Goldfinger. How did she get in there? There's no oil in the floor.
Yeah,
did she just appear? So again, it's a cinematic choice.
It's a good nod to the old Bonds.
Yeah, I just thought that, but I was like, okay. The other one, the big thing I just do not like about this movie is just Dominic Green. I don't like him as a villain. I think he's just he's playing like a reptile.
Yes, he's a sort of slimy character.
He's not. I don't think there's any threat from him. I don't find him intimidating. Bond doesn't even find him intimidating. No. I liked his bit, and he's going, "Oh, please, my friends call me Dominic," and he's like, "I'm sure they do."
Yeah, that's
You're not a threat. Your henchman isn't a threat. The guy with the toupee. I'm glad that actor is in something that isn't in World War II, because he always plays either a Nazi.
Who, Elvis?
Aye. As is the name of it.
Yeah.
He either plays a Nazi or he plays someone in one of the concentration camps.
Alright.
He's typecast and everything.
Okay.
He's been
I've never ever seen him.
Captain America. He was in Band of Brothers. He's in loads of other things. He plays like an SS officer.
Right.
Something that
typecast.
It's nice to see him not playing a Nazi.
Yes. On a side note there, that gag about him, my friends call me Dominic and he keeps calling him Green, is in The Simpsons. That's why Homer always calls Ned Flanders Flanders and never Ned, because in their first meeting he said, my friends call me Ned.
All right.
And that's why he calls him Flanders.
So Daniel Craig, is this a line Daniel Craig improvised?
There's a link between The Simpsons and Daniel Craig.
Like, Mark, do you watch The Simpsons? So, this is something Homer does.
I thought Dominic was good. I'll disagree with you. I wrote it down that Dominic Green and Elliot Carver are the most realistic villains in the series. That they two could be real life villains, because Dominic Green is just a businessman with a dodgy company.
Dodgy haircut.
Dodgy haircut, buying and selling things and selling it to bad people to get more money. That's pretty realistic. He's just a business guy who has business meetings with all his friends.
Maybe there was a point in this movie where the threat... You know how we spoke about in the first 3 Bond movies, it was such a niche villain doing something that not most people care about, i.e. I'm going to take the space program down, or I'm going to steal the Lecter, or I'm going to blow up the gold. And then Thunderball was like, oh, they're going to steal a nuke. Okay, right, okay, I'm sitting up now, because that's a problem that I might get involved in. This is just a guy who's taking the water in Bolivia.
Yes, he's just taking advantage of
that's all he's
poor
doing.
People.
There's nothing else that he's going to do, so that's it's not like a victimless crime, but it's kind of like, well, he's just doing what, let's be honest, Nestle want to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's probably another reason people don't like it, is because there's not a threat, a major threat. But then when every time there is a going to take over the world bad guy, everybody's like, that's been done before.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what they want.
He's just a corporation guy. But that's why I think there just wasn't really much of a thing. I think he's kind of unhinged, and he did more with the axe at the end.
Yes.
And I liked the fact, but
I liked that fight as well, because he is not a trained fighter or whatever. He's just a business guy who's got an axe, and he's going to wield it as much as he can.
He's Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, but it's not like some of the other villains who are like trained in the art of torture or whatever. He's just a guy who finds an axe and has to somehow fight James Bond.
Because I think even
it's so real.
I wish you can't really tell who the villain is with this, because you've got him and then you've got General Medrano, and it's like you've got two people who are wanting one thing. One is wanting Dominic Green, and Bond's wanting to do this because he's wanting to get the bottom of the organisation that caused Vesper to betray him. Yeah. And then Camille is wanting to get to General Medrano for revenge, and they're both kind of going, and you don't know who the main one is. But I don't know, if anything, I kind of wanted Green to do more evil things. I wanted to hate him more, because the ending was quite satisfying, where he didn't kill him. And I suppose that was the end, where he didn't kill Green when he could have. Yeah. And he didn't kill the guy
Vesper's boyfriend.
Yes, what's his
traitor
name?
I don't know his name.
The Algerian.
The Algerian guy. I think
he doesn't kill him, and that's like, okay, well, now you've actually, this is a character arc.
Yeah.
At the start, you were just a brute who destroyed everyone, who broke things. Now you are just a very angry, well-trained man who is killing everyone, and we think you're out of control, to the point at the very end it's like, right, well, now you've controlled it, you're not killing everyone. Do you understand where you are now? Do you get this now? And that's like, okay, you've now become James Bond at the end. And I thought, that's quite nice. And
yes.
The necklace, and I'm like, okay, that's
good,
arty.
Good arc there. I guess you could say that Casino Royale's the same. He's brutish, and he ends with not killing Mr. White in a suit. Like, okay, he's become James Bond, and then we go back to this film where he just starts killing everybody, and then by the end learns again not to kill people.
Well, he said the reason he's trying to kill everyone is because they tried to kill M. Because men in the plane, he says, "Oh, you try to kill some I know as well." And I was like, "All right, but it's not what you think, or your mother, or she likes to think so."
Yeah,
and it's like, well, that's quite funny.
I'll pick up on something you said in your two minutes there. I don't think M was shot.
She does go. Ah!
She does fall over,
but then she's fine.
Yes, she's not. I don't think she's shot. I think Mr. White gets shot, and the bodyguard gets shot, and then it's just shots getting fired. I don't think she gets hit.
The Mitchell turns and shoots the bodyguard.
Yep.
He then turns and shoots at M, and M falls down. And the time that he shoots M, he turns, and Bond hits the deck and throws a chair at him.
Yeah, that's right.
The chair. Throws a chair at him, and then when he gets up, they wrestle for the gun. The gun goes away, shoots Mr. White. He shoots Bond. At this point here,
M's away by then.
No, at this point here, they're still fighting. Kicks the gun away. Mitchell runs away, and then one looks up and sees like M kind of
hobbling away.
Stairs.
Yes,
but I don't know if it's just like a flesh wound.
I don't know. I don't think because it's never ever talked about again.
He's too tough.
Yeah,
but I think even the death scene again on my kind of list of things I like is when he is holding Green by the
hair. Yeah, that's why it's a good fight.
You hold him by the hair, and he could just let him go and let him burn. And even when the gunshot goes, he does that like laughing. Looks like you've lost another one and starts laughing again. And it's like, well, you could just let him go here. But he chooses to pull him up because he knows
he needs the info.
He needs the information from him. And I'm like, okay, this is him learning now. This is beforehand. He would have pulled you up and then broke your neck and then pushed you into the fire. But he needs the information, so he wants to keep him alive with that.
I like Dominic Green. Even the one of my favourite scenes in this film is the opera scene because it's like a modern interpretation of the Thunderball Spectre meeting. And you could just see that that's probably how evil organisations actually do meet. They meet in public, in daylight, talking to each other, all spread out. That seems so realistic, like that totally would happen. And then when they get compromised and he's running down the stairs in his tuxedo, and then like he gets the bodyguards to go after him, and then when the bodyguard falls off the roof and he's like, he shouldn't be looking at me. Yeah. I love that bit. I think that's such a good fight.
Like, see, so I went through my dislikes. You went through...
that was my dislike was the editing. Another dislike, not a dislike, but I've got a question. One that I didn't understand was when Camille is kind of like trapped in the room full of fire at the very end.
I know exactly what you're going to ask because it's something I'm going to ask as well.
Because I never clocked this until I rewatched it literally the other day.
It gets dark, doesn't it?
Because I didn't understand the dialogue for the first 1,000 times I've watched this until I watched it just there. Is that what we're thinking right now?
Is he planning a double suicide?
Yes, because there's no escape.
Because he cocks a weapon, he goes, close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Like, well, this is...
And make it count or something, she says.
Yeah. Well, I think she's just kind of...
repeating what he said.
I think she's just kind of saying what he said because she did shoot him. And that was the end, and now she's trapped. Obviously, she's traumatised with the fire. And then he can't get out, and that's why she's like freaking out with a bit. But the fact that he cocks a weapon, before he notices the panel falls off, and he just goes down, I was like... All right. He knows that they're going to burn, and that's...
So he was going to take her out to save her. Like, the pain. That's something I never clocked until that last meeting.
That was the thing. I was like, is this a double suicide? Is this something? Again, it happens really fast.
Yeah.
But I think, like...
What another question, sorry, is... What are the opera, the murders that happen during the opera, where they just kill a bunch of hostages? What?
I don't know.
What is that all about?
I don't know if that was a made up story or that's meant to be something.
We're supposed to know what that's all about because they're having a big meeting and then at the same time,
woman stabbing a guy and then people.
I think that's the play, that's the opera. But when everyone's getting shot under the stage or whatever, I don't know what that was all about. And why would you have your meeting at the same time as that's going on?
Sorry, can you say that again?
I can just hear a lot of gunshots.
Maybe that was put in there. Because
to show how evil they are?
No. Maybe that was put in there purely on the basis that there was no panic in the opera. No one was leaving. So there was gunshots on the stage at the exact time there was gunshots in the kitchen in the restaurant. Yeah. So maybe it's like the audience are completely unaware of the gunshots. Because maybe that was just thrown in to be like, well, surely if there was gunshots everywhere, the place would start evacuating.
Yeah, but they don't because the girl's getting stabbing on stage. It's part of the play, probably. Yeah. This is one of my favourite Mr. White moments as well. The fact that he doesn't get up and leave and try to escape, that he's like, he knows what to do. He's experienced. He just takes the earpiece out, looks straight ahead.
He probably can't because he's still got that gunshot wound in his leg.
Looks straight ahead and just like plays it so cool and then makes that quote to his wife. I was like, Mr. White is a top grade bad guy.
He just knows what to do though.
He's one of my favourites.
I think
but if we'll go into question 2, because that was a nice segue.
Because now that's part of the question.
That was a nice segue because question 2 is, what is the name of the opera that they're going to see? That the quantum meeting takes place. Now, Mr. White says it, but also it's shown, I guess.
Is it the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for ruining the question.
I'm trying to think of the likes I've just been through there. So, it sounds like you lost another one. Friends Call Me Dominic. The lift fight scene is like a weird... Again, it was really quick. Seeing he's handcuffed and he still battles 3 guys in the lift.
That's something I didn't understand. Like, so M's trying to bring him in because she doesn't trust him, and then he basically knocks out all her guys, and then suddenly he's like, don't go after him, I trust him.
Yeah, I thought that was
Why?
just a change. I think it was more so the fact that the Americans are telling her what to do.
Yeah, and she doesn't like that.
The Americans are trying to control the whole thing. I think that it was the fight sequences in this movie are great.
The rope one's one of my favourite. That shot of it, them going over,
yes,
is one of the best.
I bet they couldn't wait to do that.
Yeah,
because there's a whole bit of like the rooftop chasing and then falling over
off the belt,
and then you don't know what's going on. If he fell in that rope grab, he's dislocated his hip, his knee, his leg, but he's fine.
Yeah,
and then just to grab the gun
at the right time.
Like, yeah,
that was a good
very
one.
Gun barrel.
Yes,
I thought, see if they wanted to do it right, they would have actually made like a spiral floor. Say make a spiral floor, would have made the floor a spiral and just put the camera back a bit, and then that looks like
the gun barrel. Yeah. Good. That would have been nice.
Hell, Mark, come on.
That was such a free goal there.
I like that. There's multiple. So there's this point I said when I was coming over. There was something about this movie which I noticed, and I was like, "This is quite a lot here." So obviously the car chase at the start.
Yeah, one of the best opening scenes,
and there's quite a number of chases.
Yes,
through this, and that brings me on to my point of the amount of vehicles used or commandeered or being a passenger of in this movie is more than any other movie I can think of.
Right.
So just to go through the list of the things I've got here, we have the Aston Martin.
Yep.
An unbranded 4x4 that he finds at a dock somewhere using his phone. That's how after he rescues Camille.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And he gets there. A Volvo in Austria.
Right.
A Range Rover in Bolivia.
Mm-hmm.
One motorbike. 2 different speedboats.
Yeah.
He's a passenger on a speedboat when he goes to see Mathis.
Yeah.
He rides on top of a bus. He's also the passenger of a bus when they find the water and they have to get back.
Oh, yeah.
He is a plane passenger twice. So when he's getting a jet to go to Austria, and also when he's on Virgin Atlantic to come back.
Yep.
He's flown a plane.
Yes. No, page 2.
The white VW Beetle appears again when Camille picks him up outside the hotel.
Right.
And he also drives a Ford hydrogen car.
Oh, the car?
No, just a car.
Okay.
But a lot of Ford hydrogen things are in here.
Well, Ford's
and that's a branding thing which I think was prevalent and then failed. So, of all the movies, he's driven more public transport than I remember, but he's driven multiple vehicles and been in all these vehicles like loads of times. It chops and changes.
Right, I didn't.
So many times. And it was only halfway through, I was like, wait a minute here, this is a lot of travelling this man is doing as well. Another point as well that I wanted to ask is, so he gets his card stopped in Austria. Mm-hmm. How the hell does he get to Italy with no money?
Yeah. Doesn't he just walk?
Who pays for that speed? He hired a man
to go to Mathis.
To take him there. So Mathis is one of the likes, and probably one of the kind of other things as well with that. So I think Mathis is probably one of the best allies in the Bond movies.
So is Mathis an ally? Or what? As in, was he guilty in the last film and he's been redeemed, or was he not?
I don't think he was,
because as a child, that was kind of a sticking point to me. I was like, why is he friends with him if he betrayed him
here, where he wasn't actually the traitor? But I think Mathis does make this movie better. Mm-hmm. He's like the old kind of granddad figure.
Yeah.
And I always liked I more recently have appreciation for the scene on the plane where he's talking, he's like, oh, you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what are you drinking? And there's a point I only noticed watching it the second time is tells him what he's drinking with that, and he kind of recognises it and says, "Oh, Keenan delay," and he looks back, he doesn't say anything, and Mathis has like a look. He was like, he knows that he called that the Vesper before, and he's like, "Oh, he's drinking 6 of them." I don't know why the barman had the cheek to say that. 6 of them. Okay, bastard.
He doesn't. He should be.
And I think that's where Mathis is kind of. This is maybe just how good an actor he is.
Yeah,
because
this guy is good.
He's kind of sitting back going, "All right, he's not just trying to find something that's going on here. He's my friend is sad.
Yeah, he's a friend.
Like, okay, I'm just going to. Do you want a pill or something? Can I help you with anything like that?" And even the death scene.
Yeah, the death scene is good.
I honestly thought the death scene for Mathis was more impactful than the death scene for M in Skyfall.
Oh, that's not. No, I disagree with that.
No, I've not seen it for a minute. I might change my mind the next
I disagree, but I think if you were going to say more than the Vespa death scene, I would have agreed.
Oh yeah, because Vespa says you just drown. There's no dialogue, but the fact that Mathis is like,
just hold me.
He says, "I just don't leave me," and then he's like saying, "All right, do we forgive each other? Do you forgive?" And I was like, it's actually quite sad. Yeah. And then my next question: why does he get put in the bin?
Thrown in the dumpster.
And then he goes, "Is that how you treat your friends?" He wouldn't care. But why? Does anyone know why I put him in the bin?
I think just to get the body out the way, off the street.
But there's the other bodies are there.
True.
And he's going to get framed for it anyway.
Yeah.
So
fingerprints all over him.
So this. Wait a minute. So this goes back to MI6, and MI6 are going to question him after this and say, "Right, did you kill those 2 guards?
Yes.
Those 2 policemen? Yes. Right. Did you kill Mathis? No. They'd already beaten Mathis and then they shot him.
Yeah.
I didn't kill him." And then they're going to go, "Who put his body in the bin?" They go, "Oh, I did." So why you do that? I don't know. Funny.
I think it was to get him out of the way, but if you're right, the 2 police officers' bodies would be on the street as well.
Yeah.
And he just obviously just takes all his money.
Yeah, it's not even like
it's like Grand Theft Auto. You just when their cash appears and he takes it all.
It's not even like he's in the bin with Dignity. It's like his head's sticking. It's not like someone's going to walk past and go, "What's that?" "Oh, nothing. It's just a bin bag."
They're just going to put it straight into the dumpster.
Yeah, I didn't get that bit, but I really liked. I really like the kind of things with Mathis. Mathis, it lended like a bit of comedy to it as well.
Yeah,
and
with his wife.
It kind of teed up. Again, I think Casino Royale was Daniel Craig's best acting, but I think the scenes he had with Mathis were good as well. It kind of brought out his acting and stuff. I think that guy's just a good actor.
Yeah.
And it was genuinely quite sad, but it was like, this is a guy who's didn't need to come with you. He was retired, he was happy.
Yeah. But
he wanted to come and help him some way, and now, and obviously he says, "I shouldn't have left you on your own," and this is where we are. But yeah, R.I.P. Mathis.
R.I.P. Mathis. What do you think of the Bond girl?
Camille.
I
don't know
probably.
if I would call her a Bond girl though.
She's the closest thing there is.
Yeah, I thought she was really good. I think
Olga.
Obviously she had her own agenda, and she had her own plan.
Mm-hmm. They just sort of kind of coincided, so they'd help each other out rather than her being dependent on Bond.
Yeah, I liked that part of it, and then I liked a lot of the Bond movies. I'm not really a fan of like the whole dialogue bit, but because this movie was so short and they were squeezing everything together. Even the interaction they had when they were in the cave, and they're talking about why she's doing what she's doing and why he's doing what he's doing. I was like, that was quite nice. I understand this now.
Yeah.
I understand why she wants to get to General Medrano, and at this point I'm kind of rooting for her more than Bond can do what he wants, but I want her to do it. And
yeah, exactly.
Obviously there's a point of saying, I waited years to get that chance and you just fucking yanked me into a speedboat.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? So and I get that, and I think it makes the end point where there's a whole fight and then when he shoots her more impactful. We're like, this bastard needs to die.
Yeah, no, it was very good.
They are, if anything, of the villains, they are people who deserve to die.
They do deserve to die. What was the double cross that Dominic Green does at the table when he makes him sign? what was that all about? What was the double cross there, or the blackmail? Because I kind of, as a kid, didn't understand. I thought both characters were getting what they wanted, and then Dominic's like, no, I actually want more.
I know, so it's General Medrano signs one contract, which is him signing that land over to Green Planet, and then the next contract is them signing over the Green Planet is now the utilities provider for the entire country.
Right.
Because they now, as of 10 seconds ago, own all that water.
Yeah.
Because it's been signed over. But because he's like, well, no, this is more than what we're paying, he's like, well, actually, no, this is, you've just signed that over to me, that's it. And to be honest, the last guy said the same thing, and he did. So here's where we are. And I think he's starting to learn out, right, okay, we'll have...
He's
not going to bring a lawyer in and go, I'll have to get back to you. And he realises who he's been dealing with.
Yeah, he's kind of been duped
in some way. So
because he was like, if it would have been the last guy if he had been more agreeable, but he wasn't. So now they've come to you.
Yeah, and that's...
Right, okay, I got that. And I get that now.
I'm like, that's fine. But then it's... maybe it's a thing where it's so far away from the audience's problem. It's like, this is your problem. You're a bad guy, so I don't care what you have to deal with. But
it was good. It was another trait of Green's to show he's just a businessman. He's just trying to do his job, just trying to get that money.
Yes.
Okay, so Olga Kurilenko, who plays Camille, was actually like Miss Ukraine or something. And she beat out Gal Gadot for the role. She was second. But because she's from Ukraine or born in the former Soviet Union, did you know what the Russian minister complained and wrote an open letter to her? What?
Letter to who?
To Olga, the actress, because she's playing a Bond girl. Would you like me to read it out to you? The open letter from Russia?
Let's hear what this old man has to say.
Right, so he said...
In Russian?
Yes.
Because I don't speak Russian.
He said, in the name of all communists, we appeal to you, the wanton daughter of unclean Ukraine and the deserter of the Slavic world. The Soviet Union educated you, cared for you, and brought you up for free. But no one suspected that you would commit this act of intellectual and moral betrayal because James Bond is a killer of Soviet people and their allies.
He's also fictional.
He's also not real.
What's that guy's name?
I can't even pronounce it.
Okay.
But he's still in the Russian cabinet.
Alright, whoever you are. Shut up!
Because...
How dare you side with Thanos? Thanos wiped out half of the universe.
That's what it's like.
Stupid old bastard. That's all I have to say. I can't believe how fucking baffling is that? That a grown, an adult has the time to write a letter to
an actress
playing a character who doesn't exist in a universe that isn't real. Based around a person who doesn't exist. It is mad.
We don't get political in this podcast, but that was the closest.
Shut up!
that was the closest we will get.
That's all we have to say.
Yeah, Gal Gadot though, she's so easy to look at. I don't know if I'd rather have Gal Gadot.
No, I don't know what Gal Gadot was like in 2008. I don't think she was on like the radar.
She was probably in the IDF, so she would have got a stronger letter.
Oh, that's true, actually. From fucking Mossad. James Bond kills Mossad agents.
Right.
We've been taken off there.
Right.
Anyway,
I think we'll go on to question 3.
Bring on your comments.
Question 3. This is a question that Derek had. I'm going to bring it up.
Did I?
Yes.
It was the Russian minister.
So, when James Bond is trailing Camille at the first meeting with Dominic Green, he hands a business card over to the guy at the gates. I don't know if it's Elvis or not, I can't remember. I want to know what the name, his alias name on the card is. for Universal Exports. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment because of the editing. Everything's a blink and you'll miss it moment.
It's James Bond because he's no real.
What? Well, let's get on to it.
What?
This is where it is, right?
So your thing. Oh, actually,
I brought a prop.
The song.
Yes, this is what I brought. A prop, as you can see. It's a 7-inch single of the song "Another Way to Die," which is the theme song. The first duet between Jack White and Alicia Keys. I want to know what your thoughts on this song is.
Before we go into that song,
yes.
So obviously this was a movie, but it was meant to be Amy Winehouse.
Yes.
And Amy Winehouse died. However,
yep,
they did have the song with, I can't believe I forgot her name, the most famous Bond singer, Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey.
Is that bush? It looks like Shirley Bassey. Just think of Donkey. No Good About Goodbye, which is a really good song. And when I listened to it, I'm like, I've heard this before. I've not. It's just the song motif that's played throughout this movie. That So
yes, which
again,
so I'm pretty sure what's his name produced it, David Arnold.
Yeah, David Arnold was I think he was the writer of that song.
Yeah,
he used the score. Again, the score in this movie is great. I'm sure the opera side of things, I don't know if that's an original song from the opera or it's something that he just wrote because he probably did. But yeah, I like that song. I get why it wasn't used. I have more of an issue with the name of the movie than the actual song itself.
Right. Well, the movie was only named 48 hours before they announced it.
What?
And Daniel Craig says there was genuinely no thought into naming the film. Apart from the fact...
Oh, sorry, what? wait. Right, so they knew the organisation was going to be called Quantum.
Yes, but they didn't have the name until 48 hours before announcing the film.
Did they understand that... What I find baffling is not 20 years ago before this, they didn't want to call the Bond movie Licence Revoked in case people didn't understand
what it was.
And then they came out with this.
So Quantum of Solace means a little bit of peace, really. Yeah. And there was a lot of jokes at the time. I remember actually watching some award show that Jonathan Ross was presenting, and he made a joke about how it's called A Little Bit of Peace and it's going to be about Bond just relaxing by the beach. I remember it's a short story by Ian Fleming called Quantum of Solace.
Oh, is it? Okay, I thought they just made this.
No, it's in a short story, literally like 10 pages or something, where he's at a dinner with a general, and the general's talking about his life and how if you don't end up with the person you love, then you'll not have any peace in your life. And it's literally nothing to do with James Bond. He's just listening to this story, and that's it.
Was it General Medrano?
So I also remember at the time Joanna Lumley did some sort of travel show about all the locations of James Bond, and she had like Ian Fleming's like original notepad and opened it up to the page, and it says Quantum of Solace on it, like just as if it just came out of his head. And I always remember that. So this they must have, you're right, had the organisation named as Quantum, and then I don't know why.
All right, that
I
makes
don't
sense.
really know.
Written down than it is from like source material.
It is source material.
Okay, I thought they just panicked and this was a Friday afternoon idea.
No,
thought we've got the press conference first thing on Monday. Just write anything.
Daniel Craig is on record as saying that the letter Q looks a bit weird, and that's why he wanted to use it.
It's weird. That's
or strange or something.
Just any...
No, the letter Q. It's a strange looking letter. But yeah, so there's no actual thought into it, because Quantum of Solace, a little bit of peace, doesn't really... I guess you could retrospectively say that he gets peace from...
In the end,
the whole Vespa story is completed, so he gets a little bit of peace. I guess you could force that.
You could shoehorn that one in.
Shoehorn's what I was trying to say, yeah. Do you think...
I completely negated the song thing.
Yeah,
the song... The previous one was good, but didn't really fit with this. That's how I got into the name of it. I liked the song.
I like the song, obviously.
Of course you like the song.
Yeah.
That song kick-started your musical life.
Yeah, so I was never into music, genuinely never into music until Channel 4 announced that they were going to play the music video for this song, like at 9 o'clock at night or something. It was going to be a big event. So literally all of us sat around the TV and watched it. And my initial thought was, it's alright. Mm-hmm. And then literally watched it again and again and again and just became obsessed.
Like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, it became very, very much obsessed. And then that led me to getting a guitar and led me to do all this music stuff, blah, 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 blah.
I think it certainly doesn't sound like a James Bond song.
No.
I think that's where people's... however...
Have you watched the Sound of 007 where Jack White talks about it with his blue hair? Uh-huh. He talks about how he just went into the studio one day, played the drums, played the guitar, and just made it up in one afternoon as if it, like, no thought, just...
Did he make this, or did David Arnold have a hand in it?
No, David Arnold had nothing to do with it.
See, what I find...
Which is probably almost unique.
Well, what I find quite frustrating about... Not Casino Royale with You Know My Name, because that was the first of the Bond movies with it.
Yeah.
This song, Skyfall, elements of... Maybe not elements of Writing on the Wall, actually, but there is parts of the Billie Eilish song have the exact same chord progression.
Yeah, it's a Bond chord progression.
I don't think it's the Bond chord progression because it's only in these latest movies, because you've got...
that's right.
Bum 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 bum, and then there's this bum 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 bum, and then Skyfall is bum bum bum, and it's the
same. Yeah.
On like I can envision it in a guitar is 730 over and over again. Whatever instrument 730, and that's you've got the Bond song.
Yeah.
And for 10 years.
That was a song. That was it.
Essentially it. And I'm quite surprised that David Arnold didn't have a hand in it, because that just seems to be stick to this formula and then change all the
maybe that was a conscious choice. It's definitely not. I think they all just independently made up this thing, but I think it was good to think that it's a thoughtful thing to do at Daniel Craig's tenure.
The
they all kind of
jarring. I think everyone can give the
yeah, it's just not Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys does not play on the song. All she does is sing.
But she just pretends to play the piano.
Pretends.
I can play the piano. It's ironic she doesn't play piano,
considering that's
keys.
What she's really...
Or name's Keys as well.
No, she is an accomplished piano player.
Is she?
She's like very famous for playing a piano and singing.
Oh, I thought she couldn't play the piano.
No, she can.
Did Jack White just say, don't touch that?
No, I think he just got somebody else in to play it and then sent it to her to do her bit.
Alright, so why use this accomplished pianist?
Yeah, well, yeah, the song's good, and it kicks off a career, I guess, for myself, or an obsession. But yeah, the song's good. I think we'll just leave it at that.
Just leave it at that. Say no more.
The fact that it was supposed to be Amy Winehouse, but then she had she was really not doing too well
at that point.
Yeah, which is all shown in that documentary. Do you know about the Coke Zero controversy? I guess you could say. Coke Zero was introduced in 2005, so this came out in 2008, and it was a partnership. They had Coke Zero, the bottle, and then they had James Bond silhouette on it, and there was a big marketing campaign, and they had the instrumental version of Another Way to Die, which is a B-side, playing over the advert. And it's just like, it's basically the title scene, but it's like cartoons or whatever. And they never actually had the rights, or Jack White never said it was okay for them to use it. So there's a big he basically put a cease and desist onto Coca-Cola, and so the advert was pulled. And I remember genuinely only seeing it like twice on the TV, and then hearing about it getting pulled because they didn't have the rights. And he said, I don't want the first time that people hear this song to be in a Coca-Cola advert. Despite him penning a Coca-Cola advert song 2 years prior and getting it played in Europe.
Didn't get the money for it.
Yeah, I guess.
There's enough money from like Seven Nation Army been sung in stadiums. Not even played, just sung.
Yeah. But yeah, the song is good. I didn't realise it because they turned it into Coca-Cola 000 in the adverts.
000.
Quite a like 00.
Yes.
It was an easy shot. That I'll talk about there's a great advert for Coke Zero to tie in with Skyfall, which I'll send to you after this. It was one of the best adverts I've seen.
I've never seen this.
Because I didn't realise that partnership really existed, because he doesn't actually have Coke Zero in the film.
No, any advert is better than the Nokia advert for No Time to Die. That is the cringiest advert I've ever seen, and we'll get to that at some point. But it's just
I remember that now.
Dreadful. That's a good kind of segue to the marketing, because we've got the big names. We've got Aston Martin, we've got Alfa Romeo, who have their feature and also the Polish shouting their name.
Exactly, that's good.
Sony Ericsson coming back. Everyone has a Sony Ericsson. The phones are so advanced. Also, the technology in this movie is advanced like a universe. Casino Royale was all just, we get this as this, and then suddenly everyone's office space has like touchscreen walls. We don't even have that.
Still don't have it.
Let's put the money down, and the money will be analysed, and we'll move all this around.
On the screen.
Wow, it's only been... Has this technically been a week since everything happened before? Virgin Atlantic obviously comes back, and
take it this way, as a private bar, isn't the Virgin flight?
I didn't think flights had bars and glasses all around the place, but
I think there are bars on Virgin Atlantic flights.
I don't think I had cocktail bars.
No, it is. It looks exactly like that, but it's not. From what the adverts I've seen, it's not like your private bar. No. You share it with the flight.
I always wonder how much that cocktail would cost on a flight. £90, please.
Yeah, first class cabin and all that.
And the big branding thing that I kind of touched on earlier was Ford and hydrogen cars. So everything's hydrogen. Kimi's wee electric car, hydrogen car. The Ford car at the end, and all the Green Planet cars are all hydrogen cars.
What car at the end?
The car that he drives out to the desert.
And dumps Dominic in?
Yeah, and he comes back, so it says on it, and it says hydrogen. It's a Ford hydrogen one.
Right, now, I didn't know that.
I only paid attention to this because obviously you then get the compound at the end, which is fueled on hydrogen cells.
Yes.
Hydrogen's a big thing, and everything is hydrogen. And I never looked into it, but I realised that most of the futuristic vehicles in this are all hydrogen powered, not electric powered.
I take it that was, at the time, people thought hydrogen was going to be big. I remember James May.
Yes. When he went to California and spoke to Jay Leno, and there was the hydrogen car. And he said there was a few pumps, and he said with hydrogen it's cheaper than petrol for now. It gets more range than petrol, and the only waste was water. It was just water because it's hydrogen, but it's so expensive to compress hydrogen into a liquid, and it's very volatile as well. And obviously after much testing, it just didn't go anywhere. But I think they were maybe trying to get ahead of the game, and Ford were saying, no, we are the hydrogen car providers. This is like, no one knows who Ford is, but this is, all the vehicles are hydrogen. Don't know if I just try to like show off for the range, like James Bond can drive everywhere on a single tank.
Well, maybe they were just trying to, like every film doesn't want to timestamp itself. It's like maybe it's slightly ahead in the future. Maybe
it's the same strategy for Casino Royale. Let's feature a car that doesn't actually exist yet.
Yeah,
there's this one.
Exactly.
I'm sure those hydrogen cars weren't for sale because they were only prototypes.
The Ford Ka that Camille drives in Haiti didn't come out to 2009, so that was a prototype as well. This is
again them just trying to
like show off their stuff. I've seen that car in real life. When they had the James Bond exhibition in London about all the vehicles and stuff, and her Ford Ka's there. It's
not really a show off vehicle.
No,
it's just a Ford Ka.
And the DBS with the door off was also there. Yeah, I took a photo of that. It'll be on my Instagram.
There's a few questions I have with one of the particular scenes. Is when they jump out the plane on the Corridor Crew, shutters open up my Corridor Crew channel, they talk about the skydiving scene because it looks a bit odd when they're falling, how it works. Yep. So they were both filmed in a wind tunnel.
Yes.
With green screen. But then what they were doing is they were then taking those images away and then putting them back on another screen to then like light them like they're outside, rather than just filming it outside, or put them on wires, and then put like a fan above them, which is why it looks so odd. Because they've taken the actual images and then they've put them onto like a render to make them look visual effects wise, to move everything around. And it also had loads of cameras around this thing to capture everything, and they just made it so much more difficult. They took a real image and then made it digital to then make it the same way that they did with the Winklevoss twins and Social.
Oh, right,
when they had to take like Armie Hammer's face and put it on
the
someone
cannibals.
else. Yes, they had to put the same thing and do the same thing to light them, because they were in just a tunnel
that makes
with
sense.
no daylight. Obviously, there's
sense.
a big sun, and they need to light them that way, and that's how it looks a bit odd. But the parachute, is that possible? I don't think so. I think they would be dead.
Yeah, because they only open it right at the very end and then thump on the ground.
I think it would certainly stop momentum.
Yeah, definitely, but maybe not.
I've had a parachute pulled once, and it yanks like hell.
Yes.
Pulls everything up.
Oh dear.
And you're like, oh no. But to do that and then be fine. Plus, he's not wearing it. He's holding on to her.
Yeah, exactly.
So if that pulls back, there's no way he can grip onto her.
Oh yeah, he would have let it go with the force of it.
The straps would have like ripped off, or his hands would have ripped off, or something.
Yeah, sure, I get it.
Yeah, it'd be dead.
Did you watch the video on YouTube about the visual effects people
on this movie?
On this film, there's like I can't remember what they're called. We'll put it in the description or something. But there's this like 3 guys that react.
This is Corridor Crew.
That's it. That's how you got that from. Yeah, that's how I discovered that. Do you?
Yeah. Hi.
Corridor Crew was good because they talk about a bunch of James Bond films.
And they do the James Bond special where they go through the old ones, and
I liked that, and they talk about obviously the Die Another Day wave at one point as well. Yeah. They're good. That taught me a lot. They kind of went over my head because I don't understand.
Corridor Crew is good. Yeah, that's all the things I really like. I've went through the fashion, the good moments, the look of the movie. Actually, see, just on the subject of fight sequences, the people rave about the Skyfall fight sequence in the city where all the neon. It's a very Sam Mendes thing where all the reds and blues and lights are coming up, and it's just the silhouettes of them fighting. And I think if the fight sequence at the end between James Bond and Dominic Green just didn't cut about the place and it was just the fire and the explosions, that would generally be up there as one of the best fights.
Yeah.
Because, okay, he's got an axe and doesn't really know what he's doing with it, but there's explosions and you can see them getting forced into the wall because they're explosions, having to use the glass window to like smash that.
Yeah, that was good.
Put an axe through his foot.
That was good.
Kind of thing. Like, it's actually just a really, really good, very nice visual of them fighting and seeing explosions going off in the background. And, you know, to go back to your point about the editing, it could have been phenomenal, but they just kept cutting bits and then cutting back to the fight in the room and then cutting back to this bit.
Yeah.
And that was... But I really did enjoy watching that fight sequence, because there's a real element of threat, and as we've learned over the last year or so, the best James Bond movies are the ones with tension.
Yes.
There's a tension, there's a time-based thing, this building is on fire,
and you
needs have to not die, and you also have to rescue this person, and also don't fall off there.
Yeah,
there's a lot you have to do right now.
Yeah.
And I think that was lost. Yeah, I kind of agree with you now in terms of the editing. Now that I'm thinking
the editing was, if you watch it again, especially right from the off, that opening car chase, which I will say is probably top 3 opening scenes. I love that car chase. Yeah. But that right from the off, it's just too fast, and you're like, where am I?
Yeah.
Taken aback by it.
I think a lot of the scenes, actually, now I think about it, some of the scenes that would be great could be much better. The only scene I think the editing is probably absolutely spot on is the opera scene.
Yeah,
the opera scene. And again, just to touch on the point of I don't think about it, it's the timing. It's when they're coming down, there's a brum, brr, and the timing marks when James Bond and Dominic Green both see each other, and they stop and they don't move, and then he runs away, and it's almost like a cut to black with silence, because there's no sound. There's all the fighting in the kitchen, and it's just the opera.
Yeah, the opera song.
So you hear the gunshots kind of over the top of the music, and then the music cuts when he's on the roof. and he gets there, and it just all works just very, very well. Well done, Mark.
Yeah, well done, Mark. You did all right, I guess.
That was good.
You've redeemed yourself.
Have you done the third question?
Yeah.
I feel like we've missed
It was your
Oh, it was the hard
business
one?
card.
It was the business card one.
Right, well, thanks. We've got to the end of this episode and not trashed this film too badly.
No, I don't think we did.
At all, really. Yeah.
I really want to like defend the movie.
So do I.
I
think it's got its flaws. It's not the best, but it's certainly not as bad as everybody makes it out to be, or all the polls make it out to be. I would say it's a good film with some flaws. And what I was really hoping to love it when I rewatched it last night, but I didn't love it as much as previously loved it, and that it solidified to me that this film sometimes is great, and in other moods, at other times, isn't good.
Yeah. I think
it's how you feel in the moment.
I think we've learned quite a bit. Obviously, it was short because they were restricted in terms of the script.
Yep.
Improvising a lot, trying to be. The director was probably trying to be different and trying new ideas about putting things together for that. The editing might have been just the fact that the scene wasn't. I mean, the movie was an hour and 45.
Yeah.
Maybe this scene just wasn't long enough.
Yeah, it just didn't have enough.
Put more in here. Just cut this. This isn't. It's probably a pacing thing. This car chase isn't fast enough. Can you cut to try and put? Maybe there's not enough cars in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Just cut back. Put this here. It could be that the movie might have been an hour and a half, and they've went. You need to.
Yeah.
Let's add 50 minutes somewhere.
Well, I remember Mark Forster saying that he felt that Casino Royale was too long. So he deliberately wanted a shorter movie, and he went as far as to say, I want this to be a short movie, fast, like a bullet. I was like, Mark, shut up.
Shut up, Mark. Are you the Russian minister? Yeah, okay. The only way I can see this is I see it as the part 2 of Casino Royale.
Yes.
And I don't want to compare
Which it
them
is.
because I think they're different, but I think it's a. If I'm going to say it, I think it sums up a nice character arc for James Bond. Mm-hmm. Start of Casino Royale, been very naive. I'm going to say innocent, not innocent at all. And then into a bit of a rage, immature, and then at the very end he's like, right, I get the world now. I get who I'm dealing with. I get these organisations. Let's move on with our life.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's move on with our life.
Let's end it. This was the first film I can remember going to see, like being excited for and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember watching Die Another Day because I was like 7. Mm-hmm. Casino Royale, I remember sitting at like the front row at the View for it, and that's my only memory. But this film was the first time I have like a lot of memories of wanting and excitement and stuff.
I liked it. It was a decent game as well.
Yes. Well, before we end, we will do our classic ranking. We'll rank this film.
You have to do the ranking this week, don't you?
Is it me?
You place where Quantum of Solace goes. I am actually quite intrigued to see where you put this. And
me too. I haven't thought about it.
At the start of this that you would have put this like near the bottom somewhere. Right. And I think a lot of people would put it near the bottom, but I don't know. I have a like. The movie is grey. That's probably the best way. Not just literally. I don't think it's great, and I don't think it's awful.
Oh, this is hard because there's so many films now on this board.
There's like there's lots of parts of it which again we've just discussed which are really really good and stand out. I don't think there's anything of this movie where I would say, oh, this is the best of any James Bond movie.
Oh, this is difficult because there's a lot that I'm like, I would rearrange this whole board now. Quite a lot.
It's definitely not below Diamonds Are Forever. The
bottom half of this board I would rearrange right now. But
well, you can't because you only get to put Quantum of Solace, and then what I get to do is I get to take off Diamonds Are Forever and throw it in that bin.
Right.
Whilst Jack is pondering away, I would like to thank you for making it this far into the episode. That is now movie 2 of the Daniel Craig era done. 22 movies down, 3 to go. We're almost there. But I'd actually quite like to know what you thought of this movie.
Yeah.
Just because this movie's like the Nickelback of like the Bond movies. People feel obliged to shit on it, because I think they're comparing it to Casino Royale. But I think it should be compared to. You either compare it to Casino Royale and you think it's terrible because you love Casino Royale, or you don't compare it and you say it doesn't make any sense, it's not a real Bond movie. But I think it should be compared to Casino Royale in the same way that why would you not just add them both together into one big story arc?
You should have the extended edition, which is just both films put together.
3 hours and 45 minutes. This isn't Return of the King.
It's been done before.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to judge it that way. I think that you hit the nail on the head with the editing point. I think that's where it can be quite jarring, but then we know what difficulties they had, so it's quite hard to say, oh, they should have wrote better. There was no writers.
Yeah.
Right,
there you go. I don't know if I agree with this anymore. Actually, I'm in knots here of I think I've made a mistake.
That is actually quite hard.
Right, so whilst Derek ponders that, did you know that the game Bloodstone,
yes,
the artwork for that,
it's the artwork at the end when he's holding
comes from this film. It's a candid shot. It's actually like a behind the scenes shot that they've just made black and white.
Yeah.
In the same way that the poster for Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, where he's lying on the wall or something, was literally Tom Holland taking a break and somebody took a picture and they're like, that'll make the poster. Or the poster
that'll do.
Or the poster for The King, that Timothée Chalamet film on Netflix, is literally
I know that
he's chatting to the director and somebody took the picture and they're like, that's good, put that at the poster.
Is isn't the one where he's just like,
he
done that.
The director's chatting to him there. So what do you think, Derek?
I'm actually having a really hard time with this.
Thanks. You can like, comment, subscribe, follow us for more. We've got 3 films left, and Skyfall, a big film that's coming up next, which for somehow and narratively happens like 20 years later. It feels like, but we'll get onto that. That's a downfall, I think. But a big year 2012 for the UK. I got my first mobile phone, a Sony Ericsson, based on this film. It was the Quantum of Solace phone.
You are a loser.
It was, and it had the theme as like the ringtone, and it had like the background that looked like the MI6 kind of all future-y stuff. And it's the phone that he takes all the pictures of the guys leaving the opera.
Yeah. That
was my first ever phone.
Did it have that same zoom function?
No, it was the worst camera ever. It's a terrible. This is a terrible camera.
I always liked. I can't remember the actor's name, but one of the guys who plays the advisor to the Prime Minister is the actor that plays Martin in Friday Night Dinner.
Guy Haynes. Guy Haynes, yeah. Guy Haynes, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, Martin.
Swatch also brought out a collection of watches. Like, they must have brought out 22 watches in a series, because it's the villain series. So it's a watch for every villain, like Dr. No.
How many Blofelds are there?
There must be 3. There's an all white one which looks great, and then there's the Goldfinger one, looks excellent because it's all gold. The Dominic Green one looks good as well.
Is that just water?
They look great, but I'm sure at the time 2008 they were like, as swatches, like 75, 80, £100. They're now going for £300 on eBay.
They'll be sold in a James Bond store. Okay, here's my ranking is. I have not moved Quantum of Solace, but I have moved another one.
Oh, come on. You've moved Diamonds Are Forever to third from the bottom.
I have moved it rightly.
Incorrect.
Is it worse than Moonraker? Yes.
No, it's not.
I actually went to put it above Moonraker.
Oh, great.
But my hand went So
you're pandering to the audience. They wanted this hate.
Jack, every week I say putting Diamonds Are Forever in the bin.
Okay, so from the bottom we have Dr. No, Thunderball, Diamonds Are Forever, Moonraker, You Only Live Twice, For Your Eyes Only, View to a Kill, Quantum of Solace, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Live and Let Die, License to Kill, Man with the Golden Gun, Die Another Day, Spy Who Loved Me, Octopussy, From Russia with Love, Tomorrow Never Dies, Living Daylights, Goldfinger, and the top 3 is The World's Not Enough, GoldenEye, and Casino Royale on top.
I feel bad for Quantum of Solace. I
feel bad for Quantum of Solace.
I feel bad in the same way that I feel bad for Doctor No, but I don't. Do you know what it is? There's not enough to challenge it with. It's like fielding a team of like amateurs against like Real Madrid. There's not enough to work with, and I'm like, I can't rightfully put this in front of something else other than bias or nostalgia. Yeah,
the way that I was trying to rank it was like, is it better than that? Just working my way up, and then when I got to Her Majesty's Secret Service, I was like, could it be better than that? It's just a recency bias that makes me think it might be, but no, because that's one of the great films, and we've literally put it in the bottom third. So
sorry, George. Happy retirement.
Yeah, happy retirement. Have a good time.
That was good. That wasn't as short as you thought it was going to be.
No, it was actually one of the longest episodes we've ever done.
That was a bit of like a court case to go through and go, well, I think you'll find this fight sequence was hard to do. But we hope you enjoyed it.
Yes.
I hope you disagreed with us, and I want to hear your disagreement.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
This is probably one of there was a couple of movies we have where it was quite contested. Like The License to Kill was a bit of a contested one of people disliking it.
It wasn't good.
But then Pierce Brosnan, again, is a bit of a split one. People are really either love him or hate him. If you hate him, you're wrong.
Exactly.
But this is a bit of a difficult one. So we hope we've maybe changed a few opinions, or maybe reinforced some opinions.
Probably.
But yes, thank you for making it this far. And what are we going on to next time, Jack?
I have told the audience that we'll be looking at 2012's Skyfall.
Titan.
The 50th anniversary.
What?
Isn't it?
50th? Oh, right.
The 50th anniversary
okay. I thought you were talking
film.
About, I was like, what year is it?
So I had a lot to live up to.
Skyfall was a big favourite of people, and people who do not like James Bond.
Big Olympic year.
Skyfall, so.
Everything was happening that year.
It'll be a long one. I have to book it 3 hours.
Yep.
Tune in.
Can't wait.
Okay.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.